Hey, you guys, my name is Christian Jackson, and for you guys who have been rolling with me the last 4 weeks for this Wellness Wednesday, welcome back. I'm really excited to have you guys here with me. For those of you who are watching this live, March 24th, 2021, this is a debut YouTube situation for me. Okay, I've started a channel because it's a natural progression, right? I've been doing videos for a very long time, but really only on my Instagram. And so here I am. What's up, YouTube? When you catch the replay, get into it. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. So for all 7 of my subscribers as of today, because we all got to start somewhere, right? Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I am Christian Jackson, your licensed mental health and wellness professional homegirl and daddy issues expert. I am here to give you some exciting news. I definitely want to introduce myself first. So I'm a licensed therapist here in South Carolina, and I work full time for myself in private practice. Shout out to Yana Counseling Services. And I wrote a book last year. She dropped last summer. I have been hustling, self-published that thing on my own, and I'm so excited because she's been doing really well, right? So Daddy Issues is the name of my book. She was born July 27th, 2020. At least that's when you guys saw it. It is a book that I wrote out of my own difficult relationship with my father, right? So, frankly, and we're going to get into this, right? In my story, frankly, I was being triggered in session with the people that I was treating, right? The women that I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, girl, me too, right? So, it drove me to therapy. And let me just make this note: if you are seeing a therapist, I highly recommend that you find one that has experienced therapy themselves, right? It's so important to make sure that you test drive the product before you went. I literally just bought a new car. I test drove her first. So I think that it's so important for you guys to understand the importance of the therapeutic process, right? So I wrote this book, and every chapter, what I'm doing is laying out for you how daddy issues shows up in your life. So the beginning of the book, what I'm doing is telling you what daddy issues is. So just so you guys can know that I'm super legit, right? This is the book that I use to diagnose clients, right? It's the DSM-5. It's what I use to kind of give you the depression diagnosis, anxiety, and all that stuff. And of course, as I'm going through things, I'm noticing that there ain't no daddy issues like diagnosis. Of course, there isn't, right? So what I did was make up a diagnosis based on, oh my goodness, thank you. You have my book. I hope you enjoy it here on Real Deal. I can't see that far. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Instagram and Facebook and hopefully YouTube. I'm trying to see if this thing is working. So what I'm doing here is just guys, letting you guys know the diagnosis that I based daddy issues on are 2 things, right? So separation anxiety and reactive attachment disorder, because a lot of the crux, the components of daddy issues is that insecurity piece where we are questioning who we are. We don't trust ourselves. We're having relational issues, right? So relationships with yourself, right? And with other people. So in the beginning of the book, Daddy Issues, How to Detangle from the Sins of My Father is the tagline. And that is where we're really looking at the family of origin issues through the lens of daddy issues and their relationship with the father. So whether or not your father was totally there, supportive and amazing, all the way to being emotionally and physically just not present and very distant, right? So I'm talking about how daddy issues looks on a spectrum. And I did have some feedback from some women who were like, I had a dad. So why are you telling me I need to buy this book? Because the issue is the sins of our fathers, right? The tagline is that we have lots of generational crap that our own fathers have kind of passed down to us that have really kind of snuck into the way that we operate, our core beliefs, how we operate, what we do, why we relate to people the way we do. So the next part of the book is me kind of looking at how it looks for attachment issues. So I have a whole issue, a whole chapter on what gets in the way of us being securely attached, right? Secure attachment meaning what is it that I can do or what's getting in the way for me to feel okay if my partner is gone and feeling like I don't have to perform because I'm actually okay with who I am. And if I'm in this relationship, then I'm solid and I have what I need. And so I have a chapter on that because there are 4 different styles, and it's so important for you to know what that looks like so that you can understand why is it that I'm having difficulty with my partner or even my children or my friends. And so that is why the rest of the book is really outlined so that you can look at daddy issues and how it impacts your friendships, your parenthood, your coworkers, all that stuff, right? So that's really important. So throughout the book, I have all those really heavy topics, but in between, you have what I call speed bumps, right? And so each chapter has self reflection questions where you can go back and you can ask yourself certain things to dig deeper. We're talking about self-care. I have very specific outline of activities that you can do in between each chapter. And this stuff is tried and true, right? So I have done this stuff with women in session and I saw that it was working. And I was like, oh crap, well, this is pretty cool. I'm doing what I can do here, and that was exciting for me. And so I knew that I had to, for me, it was kind of cathartic to write this story. So yes, you get to know some autobiographical pieces of like the story between me and my dad, kind of what went down, right? But also kind of like a conglomerate of other client stories, obviously kind of mixed up to protect confidentiality because I am a licensed therapist. I do have to respect and honor HIPAA. I'm mandated to do so. And so you get to really see how I paint the story and illustrate what these daddy issue symptoms look like. So that is the book, and her sister, the workbook. I really highly recommend getting both because you get to expound upon the book's questions, right? So the self-reflection questions are going to give you more room and space to journal and actually dive into the activities. And so buying both of these, really, y'all, is less than $50. And that is like a third of the cost for one session with me in therapy. And really, the book is so jam-packed with information that you could really do over probably, I like to say, a year and a half of steady, good paced therapy, because you're really going to start opening up all kinds of different things, right? So you can see here on my Facebook and my YouTube, scrolling down here at the bottom, you can make your purchase at www.couchwithchristian.com, and you can click the link in my bio here on my Instagram. And so if you have noticed, this is a very special week for me. If you've been following Couch with Christian for a while, you may have noticed that I have been going through a little bit of a rebrand. Well, a major rebrand. I've got a facelift, right? So I hired the wonderful Alyssa Jones, and she kind of put me on to really making a good direction for my brand and keeping it cute, right? So y'all are really giving me some really amazing, sweet feedback. I really appreciate it on the beautiful pictures I took a couple of months ago. But I would invite you to go back and read the captions and engage with me, because I like to respond and see what you guys think. So thank you so far for what you have been telling me lately. The website is launched, right? And so the special piece about this, thank you, Starkey. I love this headpiece. I've already gotten one compliment on it. I'm ready to give you the link to find it. Nadira, I already got you some business, right? So this is some really special piece for me because hey, Robert, I see you. I really wanted to launch something else other than my books. And so the website comes with a blog. I'm going to get into regular writing because this is one of my favorite things. You can go catch my blog. You can also check out the content about like who I am and really getting to know who I am as a person. It's different for me to do this as a licensed therapist. I don't really get to tell my clients a lot about myself, but you can dive in with me and kind of get to know me and why I'm telling my story the way I am. Now, the reason you're here tonight is for me to tell you the details of my Daddy Issues Healing Circle. This launches in May, just in time for Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, I've been alluding to it over the last couple of weeks, and finally tonight, my goal for this Wellness Wednesday is to outline each group so you kind of know what you're getting into and why I believe you should grab a friend, a girlfriend, and come to join this group, right? So group is one of my favorite things. I love doing group. It's so therapeutic and just supportive and amazing when you get people together to exchange ideas, right? So that's actually how I started my career, was in group settings. And so as a therapist, it's so rewarding to see the group work for itself and people really kind of engaging with each other and uplifting and supporting with one another. So I really knew from the beginning that I wanted to build content on my book in the form of a support group, right? So Daddy Issues Healing Circle is an 8-week group where I'll be walking you through this specialized curriculum that I developed just for you. It's for women, of course, only. And it's a chance for you to really work through these activities and self-reflection questions and more that I have in store for you each week. So the very first week, of course, we are going to be introducing ourselves to one another, kind of breaking the ice. And then we're also going to get into what I call the self-care audit. And so what we're going to do in this first week, of course, the self-care audit is going to be a chance for you to kind of score yourself, right? How well am I taking care of me? Okay. What is that looking like? I'm not talking about getting your nails done, your hair done, and, all the self-maintenance type of things. I'm talking about what are we doing physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally to really tend to who you are. It's not a chance for you to harshly judge yourself, right? It's not that. That's not what this is. You got to know where you're going to start, right? And so in order for you to make a change, you got to know what you need to do, right? If you want to treat your depression, you got to call it depression. I literally had that discussion earlier today with a young man. He ain't like the words coming out my mouth. I said, bro, you sound like you might be depressed. Let's talk about this thing. Let's call the thing a thing so we can treat it. That is really what week 1 is going to be for the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. Let's talk about self-care. You're going to walk out of that group with a self-care plan, right? So you'll have a chance to say, okay, Christian, and all my overcomers, which I'm going to call you guys, my sisters in this group, I will do blank for my mental health, like literally outlining in detail what that's going to look like, right? So week 1, you're walking away with a self-care plan, and you're also going to have some ideas, because with the same person I had a conversation with today, he didn't have a good example of what self-care looks like. Not even down to even a public figure that he might admire. Like, what is self-care? What does that look like? How do I do it? And so the self-care diamond, which you're going to see an illustration of in my book, it's just a list of ideas, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional ideas for you to really kind of care for yourself. So that whole first week is jam-packed. We're setting it up, and I ain't playing with y'all, okay? This is a self-paced situation where alongside the group, you will be placed into a separate group that I'll be managing and engaging with, so that we have access to each other in between groups. And so during this time, you can engage with each other and say, yo, sis, like I tried this for self-care this week. What did you do? Did you like this recipe? Did you do this meditation? What's this mixtape that you're talking about? Really engage with each other about what that looks like for self-care from the very beginning and throughout. So we're going to check in back with each other from one week to the next, because week 2 is going to be where we reflect, relax, and release. And that is where we are really going to take some time to identify what daddy issue symptoms is or are, right? So remember, I told you guys that, referring to my notes, there are activities between each chapter of the book. You have really deep self-reflection questions. We're going to dive into some things, and I'm going to talk about what daddy issues are anyway. This is a chance for you to kind of look at the symptoms and how they show up in your life. What do daddy issues look like? How they show up in my life? What is this definition you're giving me, right? So we can have working definitions of what daddy issue symptoms are. And then right into week 3, which is probably one of my favorite ones, we're going to talk about the archetypes, right? We label ourselves so quickly because of what society tells us as women with daddy issues that we don't take the time to give ourselves grace. So this is where I'm introducing that idea of grace, which is part of the major key to overcome daddy issues. And I'll tell you about that at the end. But the week 3 is a subconscious self-labeling. We're going to talk about those archetypes. So do you identify with the gold digger? And I kind of cringe because I know that saying that out loud, I don't want to give the wrong impression. I got to preface this by saying I've been all these women, sis. I've been the gold digger, the promiscuous type, the clingy type, right? My attachment issues showed up, right? My woman on defense, where my trauma response showed up and I had the walls up, right? So what do you look like now? How do you kind of morph? What triggers those different transformations? And let's talk about how that looks like with trauma. One thing I haven't mentioned tonight specifically is that I'm a trauma therapist. So I'm looking at things through this trauma lens. Why are you responding this way to different people? Why you feel like you have to protect yourself, and what are you protecting yourself from? So that week, we're really going to call a thing, right? I'm so big on making sure that we say these things out loud and we stop giving them power, right? So we got to call what it is and then talk about how to navigate those things, because the next week, we're going to talk about the attachment piece, right? It's week 4, genuine connection versus trauma. Am I trauma bonding? Am I just kind of settling for this relationship because I know how to navigate the toxicity of it? Even though I know that I'm kind of in this emotionally abusive relationship, I'm just going to stay here because I have a poverty mentality. There's a ceiling. I can't really get any further past this. Let's talk about it, sis. Like, what is this attachment that you have? Why do we feel like we have to perform in relationships to keep our partners? Why are we so anxiously attached, and where do we learn that? How do we undo that narrative, right? So a lot of the trauma work that I do is really identifying what the narrative is, what I would call stuck points based on some training on CPT, which is cognitive processing therapy. How do we uproot those things and kind of unlearn the stuff that was taught to us based on our traumatic experiences? Another thing I do is EMDR. And if you Google it or go to YouTube, EMDR, it says go with that, right? And that is just kind of evoking safely a traumatic memory and really kind of reworking and unlearning those messages that we learned in those traumatic experiences. And that is totally valid and safe to do. And so we're looking at that. What does contribute to my walls that I put up when I'm with someone, whether it's a friend, a coworker, right, your partner, your children. Attachment issues can be looked at so many different ways, and it's so important for you to have that language. It's freeing when we have that opportunity for us to like articulate things, right? It's so freeing when you can actually call it what it is and you take the shame out of it, right? The point of the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. So week 5 is, what kind of friend are you, sis? Are you the flake? You know what I'm saying? Did I give you some other names of what these types of friends are? And yes, your daddy issues do impact the way you see friendships. Again, we're going back to the family of origin piece, and we're looking at the impact of how you learn to be a friend, a lover, a mother, right? What does that look like? How did you learn dependability? Did you watch your father kind of not be as reliable, and that's why you kind of treat your relationships that way, or just believe that you don't have to like owe anyone the decency of those things? So week 5, we're really taking a close look at what kind of friend are you and how is that related to your daddy issues, and why working through your daddy issues can help you be a better friend, right? So we are about halfway through, right? This is an 8-week program, the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, where we're going to get together in this therapeutic support group led by me, the author of the book, and a licensed professional, and we're going to stamp out the shame. Remember, being in a group setting and saying things out loud that you don't really say to other people is freeing, right? We're going to say those things out loud so that they don't have the power over us. And that is why I'm so excited and pumped about the beauty of the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, because it's going to give you a chance to kind of stand up and flip the script on your fears, like I say on my website, right? So week 6 of the group is, do we date our dads? And this is kind of where I'm going to be doing some of my real-time research in the group, because I've been asked to do some things with dating and daddy issues. So the gag is, I already wrote the curriculum. I just need to know and get feedback live from you ladies when you join the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, what kind of struggles and things you find and what you're learning about yourself in the Daddy Issues Healing Circle about possibly dating your dad, right? So again, I mentioned trauma bonding a little bit early on in tonight's live, and that is really just it's a survival technique, right? So I'm going to stay in this relationship no matter how toxic it is, because I know when it's going to hit me. I know how to navigate that danger. And those are stories I've heard, unfortunately, right? And so again, that poverty mentality comes back and it says, you know what? I don't think life is going to get any better than this. So the short answer is yes, we date our dads, right? Because it's what we know, and that could be a good thing for some of us. But how does that feed us? Does it benefit us? Let's really have that conversation. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say in week 6 of the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. Now, week 7 is Chainbreakers. So in my book, Daddy Issues, How to Detangle from the Sins of Our Fathers, I write about it's a whole chapter called Daddy Issues and Motherhood. And I know that not everybody's a mother, right? So when we get together, ladies, and you're not a mother, you're not going to be counted out, because you may be the cool auntie, because I have a lot of friends who would say, well, girl, I'll come get the boys, but I can bring them back, right? So if you're a cool auntie, the mentor, you got some people under your wing that you are kind of guiding, right? Then we still impact our future generations, right? And yes, our daddy issues do impact the way that we connect with the people that we're bringing up from under us, right? So it's so important for us to know, like, I kind of think like helicopter mom, right? So are we parenting out of our trauma? What does that look like and why? And where do we learn that? Where do we get this message? Where do we get that script? Like my friend Jessica Van, shout out to you in Vision Counseling, she would always say, what is your scripts, right? Where did you learn that from? So once we reach week 8, right? By now you have made some new friends. We in group, we kikiing it up, right? Because we'll be on Facebook and between groups every week. We're exchanging ideas, maybe even recipes, right? We've got a bond by now, right? So week 8, we're going to celebrate that thing, sis. Week 8 is graduation. And I'm so excited because I have some cute little ideas for commemorating your therapeutic journey, right? So for some of you guys, this is your first introduction to a therapeutic experience. And I get that. And I really want to make it special for you. It's already going to be special for me because you guys would be the inaugural, meaning the very first cohort of Daddy Issues Healing Circle, right? So I'm excited to celebrate this with you and finally give you the major key to overcoming daddy issues. It starts with grace. It's an acronym that I made up. It's in my book, Daddy Issues, How to Detangle from the Sins of Our Fathers. We're talking about how to give yourself grace and really remember those steps to really kind of identifying what those daddy issues look like. Again, by now you know what that looks like. You know who you used to be. And hopefully by the end of the 8 weeks, you're changed, right? Technically, you're a new woman after 8 weeks, right? So we don't know her no more. You know what I'm saying? Once we've done our work. So I'm excited about that. So that's going to be really fun. Graduation. I have some ideas in store for you. And that, my friends, is the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. That is what I was able to launch this week. So the website went up, right? So on the home page, what you can do is just scroll down, couchwithchristian.com. You scroll down to the bottom, you answer those few questions, and that is a screener. So I wanted to explain why I screen people for this group. And it's really important because as a licensed therapist, I'd be irresponsible and remiss, really, if I didn't screen and make sure that everyone was safe. So hopefully, if you see my website by now, you know that it's really important for us to create a safe space together. I invite you to get something warm to drink. And even in the summertime, I drink hot coffee. I don't do cold coffee, right? So you get together on your warm drink, and we're creating this safe, dynamic, supportive, therapeutic space together. So if I was not the gatekeeper and somehow the wolves came through the group, then it wouldn't be an effective space, right? So I just want you to know that from the beginning, when you scroll down, after you go to Couch with Christian, you apply for the group and you answer the questions. What happens is I get a ding, I hit you up, I say, yo, sis, what time can we talk? We'll do a consultation. And that is where we kind of go a little bit deeper, where I can check your vibes, you can check mine. And at this time, we can kind of talk together about what the Daddy Issues Healing Circle can do for you, how you can benefit, and whether or not you're an appropriate fit. So an example of someone who may not be an appropriate fit would be someone who is schizophrenic, not on medication, never been to therapy, and that person could still participate if they're on meds and in therapy, because frankly, they need to be safe for themselves and for everyone else in the group. And they really need to be in a space where they can receive the information, right? So I don't want to be in a group where you're, paying this money and you don't get anything out of it because you're just not in a good headspace. So that would be just one example of someone who wouldn't be necessarily appropriate, right? So someone who may be actively suicidal, has planned to harm themselves. So again, y'all, I'm a licensed therapist. I'm very highly trained to make sure that the people in my space and in the groups are safe. That is why I screen, and just an idea of what I would ask, right? So how much does it cost, Christian? What's going on? So just remember that I'm not going to be hiding nothing from y'all. I'm very transparent. So I already told you that buying my 2 books, right? The Daddy Issues, How to Detangle from the Sins of Our Father, the actual book, right? And the workbook together is really an important piece. You need to buy them together. I would really highly suggest that. They're less than $50 by themselves. Okay, that is 1/3 of the cost from seeing me individually, right, for therapy. And so group therapy is, and you can Google this, group therapy is way more cost effective for people because you don't have to pay as much. So you're getting 8 groups at about 90-ish minutes between that and 2 hours of group at a time. So 8 weeks in a row, you get about 90 minutes with me. And you're paying about $62.10 a group. I did the math because I know that I like to count my coins. I'm going to invest in something. I want to know what's up. So I'm going to let y'all know what's going on. So for about $62 a group, you come to $497. That is the cost of joining the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, right? So you have the opportunity to make that initial investment, which I tell you about on the website. When you scroll down, you apply on the homepage of couchwithchristian.com. Can you make that initial commitment of $97? That will hold your slot and make sure that you have a space on my roster. And so then during the course of the group, at the beginning and somewhere in the middle, you'll pay two payments of $200. So the entire cost is $497. After you pay that $97, after you do the consultation, you in there, you know what I'm saying? Then you pay those 2 payments of $200. You're paying, again, roughly $62 a group, which some of my colleagues have already told me I am lowballing myself. So this would be the time, doing my first time launching the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, for y'all to get in there because the price is probably going to go up, right? Now, you heard me say that this would be the first time that I am offering the group. So the goal is for there to be several cohorts throughout the year. My goal is to take maybe a couple of weeks of a break that I have so many women apply that I have to split it up. And I do want to offer it as like a revolving door. Sometimes it's just better for during the year than others for some people, and I totally understand that. Again, I'm going to try to launch this thing. The goal is to launch it in May during Mental Health Awareness Month and my birthday month. So that would be a nice present to myself to have reached this milestone. So I'm really excited to offer this to you and to answer any questions. So, of course, now that you have, I want to make sure in my notes I'm covering what I want to. Oh, yeah, boom. The last thing I want you guys to know is that the applications are open as of this past Monday, March 22nd, 2021. April 23rd is the very last day to apply. And I got to tell y'all, I already have a few applications in. I've set up consultations for my admin day this Friday. And so I'm making 3 phone calls already. Okay. And I have to cap the group. So that's another space, another way that I can keep the space safe, right, and functional and effective. Because, I mean, clearly I'm not doing this for the money. I'm a therapist. Therapists don't make money, okay? They don't pay us what we worth, y'all, okay? But I just want y'all to know that in order to keep the group safe and effective, I do have to cap the group probably somewhere around 8 to 10 people. But remember, all hope is not lost if you don't get in this first time, because I'm going to be offering it the rest of the year. And I know this is going to go well. It's already blessed. I'm already claiming it. I've seen it work. I'm so excited. So please get in there. At least the consultation, right? You get to talk to me directly, ask me whatever questions that you have that are burning. And that is the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, y'all. So if you apply, I'm going to make time to talk to you, and we can really kind of calm whatever issues or fears or concerns you may have, and I can let you know the details, right? So I'm working in the background to get things together, getting your packages together. I have already some really cool ideas for a welcome packet for you ladies, so I'm really excited for that, and really to make this a smooth transition into probably your first therapeutic experience. Again, I understand that, and I'm excited to be the one to kind of usher that in. If you have any questions, because I'm going to wrap up this live here for Wellness Wednesday, please, please, please shoot me a DM. You can find me on Instagram at Couch with Christian, all one word. My Facebook page is at Couch with Christian, all one word. And you can go to my website, www.couchwithchristian.com. It is here in my bio on Instagram, and you can see it scrolling on the screen here on Facebook and YouTube. If you go to the website, you have an opportunity to join the Overcoming Daddy Issues group that I've had up since July, or really before that, right, when I was doing pre-sales. And so there are about 300 women in that group right now, and we engage and we talk, and I'm trying to get people to engage a little bit more. And so if you want to join my Facebook community, the Overcoming Daddy Issues Facebook group, then feel free. It's for ladies only. Okay, I have been asked to do some stuff for men because I do enjoy working with men. I have a heart for them as well. But right now I got to focus on what my calling is, and that is to make sure that I am helping walk you through what I know already works. All these things I'm already doing in session and have been for a couple of years. I have just finally been able to kind of put it together, right? in one package for you guys. So I'm really pumped. Share with a friend. Think of someone who may benefit from this that you want to invite to the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. Share my page, my profile. DM me for any questions. I really want to thank you for your time. Wellness Wednesday is a wrap. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys later. Bye, Facebook, and hopefully YouTube works. Bye, Instagram. Y'all have a good day. Oh, y'all see me in the dark? Bye, y'all.